an exhibition hall where all the wealthy gather to enjoy fights. An underground fight will determine the strongest in the world. On the right side of the ring is the young man Akari, 21 years old, a professional in karate. On the left side is his opponent, who has never lost a match in his life. Burin, 14 years old and 342 kilos. Don't be afraid, his weight isn't excessive, because in reality Burin is a giant bear. Burin immediately pounces on him, hitting him in the face. All the spectators are happy. They came basically to see corpses in the ring. Akari is fighting in the ring to treat his friend, a female friend suffering from a rare disease. The only way to treat it is through an operation. The organizers promised him that if he wins, they would perform the operation at their expense. Akari attacks the bear, choking its neck, but the bear flips him over and hits him with its claws, pinning him to the ground. Then it rips his stomach open, feasting on him like paralyzed prey. So Akari didn't feel the pain. All he felt was sadness for his friend who will die if she doesn't get the operation. The sadness that motivates him to resist. He opens his eyes and delivers a blow to the bear, washing this ferocious beast. The bear tries to attack him, but he blocks it, flips the bear onto its back with a decisive blow, and doesn't stop there. He comes down on his head, crushing the fighter who never lost a single match. Finally, he lost, and his loss was his death. Akari goes to the organizer and says, "Where is my friend? Where is the operation you promised?" He says to him, "I sold your friend." Akari says, "Sold her? Sold her to whom?" The man says, "The person behind you." Akari finds a man and a woman behind him. He grabs the man and says, "Where is my friend?" The man says, "She died. We tried to help her, but she died yesterday." Akari is shocked. After all he did, she died. From the shock, he hits the man. The man doesn't flinch and says, "I feel for you, and that's why I came to you. Do you want to save other children infected with the same disease?" Let me introduce myself. I'm the leader responsible for the Mars exploration mission. My name is Kamachi, and with me is the vice leader. Her name is Michelle. The disease that infected your friend isn't a normal disease. It's a virus, and its source is from the planet Mars. To stop it, we will travel to Mars in 2 years. So what do you think? Do you want to help us? Akari wakes up after a full week in the hospital. Michelle tells him, "Congratulations, the operation on your body was successful. An operation aimed at preparing the human body for Martian conditions." Michelle tells him, "I was sure the operation would succeed with you because it succeeded with your father before you. And the same thing happened to me." Kamachi was with 3 others and tells them the success rate of the operation is 3.6%, a very low percentage. These 3 were living like dogs in the poor neighborhoods, so he says, "Anything will be better than where we came from." Someone named Adolf passes by, the leader of the German group going to Mars. With him is a woman who agreed to the operation, named Eva. We learn the names of the 3, Sheila, Marcus, and Alex. Michelle takes Akari to get to know the 4 of them. They are all roughly at the same level. She explains the purpose of the operation to them. The space virus coming from the planet Mars that kills those infected with a 100% mortality rate. No one gets infected without dying. The samples on Earth don't reproduce, so we can't find an antidote or vaccine. That's why we are going to Mars to bring back samples with us. But the problem we face is the unmanned drone ships. Everyone who went there didn't return. So we sent a mission to see what happened, a mission named Bugs, meaning insects. It consisted of 48 people and only 6 returned. They returned with shocking news. They returned with the creature in front of you, a giant cockroach that killed the entire squad. So the goal of the operation is the beginning of the war between humans and cockroaches. Mars is the 4th planet in the solar system. Its temperature is 53 degrees C and gravity is about half of Earth's. For humans to adapt to its atmosphere, they sent 2 things to Mars 500 years ago. The first is a type of algae and the second is an insect with a high reproduction rate, and that insect is the cockroach. After 2 years, the team takes the ship and launches into space. Kamachi announces to everyone present the success of the launch operation. We are now on our way to the planet Mars, and the journey will last 39 days. They disperse and go into the ship. They must train in the gym daily to maintain muscle mass. Indeed, they are playing everywhere, even playing baseball. Along the way, they meet someone named Ivan, who is on the trip with his sister. After 39 days, Commander Kamachi announces the ship's arrival in the Martian atmosphere. We will land on the planet's surface in a few hours. Suddenly, the cameras turn off in a part of the ship. He contacts Michelle to go see what malfunction is happening there. Akari was going with Marcus to the bathroom. Not sure what the 2 want to do at the same time, but they find someone inside. He's late, so he knocks. "Hey man, we want to enter." Suddenly, the door opens and half of a woman's body comes out, being carried by a giant cockroach. How did it get in? We haven't even arrived yet. Akari says to Marcus quickly, "Go to the medicine storage and I'll try to stop." He prepares himself for battle, but Michelle appears and tells Akari to get the medicine. He says, "No, I want to fight." Everyone who underwent the operation needs the activation medicine except for me. And she says, "That's why I go after him. Since one appeared in front of us, there's a possibility there are more than one." In the main hall, a cockroach appears and kills the first soldier. Everyone flees and watches. In the place, they find a 3rd cockroach laughing with a soldier's head. Everyone asks, "Where is the medicine?" "We need the medicine." Someone appears with a firearm and opens the storage locker. The cockroach's body is pierced by bullets. but it continues and grabs the soldier's head and with all its strength tears it off along with the spinal cord. With the spinal cord, it slashes a second soldier. Then a third. Meanwhile, Akari reaches the medicine storage. This medicine activates the soldier's strength and makes him able to face the cockroaches. They reach the storage and are surprised by a cockroach smashing all the medicine bottles in the ship. It seems the mission failed before it even began. The killing of soldiers continues everywhere on the ship. Komachi tries to change the ship's course towards Earth. His leadership contacts him and says, "What are you doing?" He says to them, "The mission failed and we must return. We have about 6 cockroaches on the ship. They say 6 samples aren't enough. Mission failure is not an option at all in Plan Delta." Komachi says to them, "The cockroaches reached us but we entered the planet. How did that happen? There must be someone helping them." Suddenly next to the ship, an explosion occurs and it is forced to crash land on the planet Earth. In various places, the leaders appear. Japan, Germany, China, America, Russia, and independent Romania, the 6 leaders of the cockroach eradication mission. Komachi goes to the storage and tells Akari, "Get out, I'll deal with them." 6 judges versus 6 cockroaches that appeared on the ship. Is this a coincidence? Each one of them deals with the cockroach in front of them with the least possible movements, turning them into corpses. Look at the cockroach whose jaw was broken or the one split in half. Komachi gathers with the remaining soldiers and says, "We will begin Plan Delta using 6 ships. We will decoy towards Mars, and the main ship will operate on autopilot and reach the surface after 2 weeks. Its landing site will be our meeting point. The 6 ships will be under the command of Komachi, the Japanese leader, Michel, the American leader, Asimov, the Russian leader, Adolf, the German leader, and Joseph, the European leader. The main goal of separation is to avoid being targeted all at once by the cockroaches." The 6 ships launch at lightning speed. Each goes to a different place, but from afar a cockroach shaped like a Hindu priest was observing them. Michelle's group reaches the Martian surface. The radar isn't picking up any nearby cockroaches, so they go out to see the planet and find it transformed into a green environment full of rivers. Sending the algae and cockroaches changed the planet over 500 years. Komachi arrives with his group on the surface, and the first thing he notices is that they don't need breathing masks. The atmosphere now has enough oxygen. All groups have arrived except for Joseph's group, whose ship is suddenly caught by something, taken and brought down to the ground. From all around them, cockroach soldiers appear. The strangest group is Russia, which arrives at a strange place with 2 structures resembling the Giza pyramids. How are there pyramids on Mars? And did the Russian group intend to arrive here? Suddenly a cockroach appears, takes a soldier's head, and hits with it, blowing the arm off Commander Asimov. He tells everyone, "Draw your weapons and split up." Eva is with his sister in the Russian group. His sister takes a net weapon. The cockroach rushes towards her. She turns into an African runner and makes her head separate from her body. His sister turned into a body without a head before his eyes. Komachi's group is looking for lone cockroaches, any cockroach walking alone drunk to capture it. Suddenly they find one hanging on the ship. He hits the glass, breaking it, because his target and the rest of the medicine with the American team. Komachi tells the 2, "Get ready and the rest of you stay here. We will begin the mission to capture the first cockroach." Komachi goes out with a net weapon, aims at the cockroach, but it escapes at high speed. A second cockroach appears near the remaining soldiers and enters among them. Are they splitting up? But he didn't expect Sheila, who with the net weapon catches it inside the net. A cockroach hunting net, a weapon specifically designed for cockroaches, made of 3 layers and nearly impossible to cut by traditional means. Sheila succeeded in catching the first cockroach. Komachi congratulates her on the achievement. He tells Marcus prepare the cage to put it in. Suddenly the cockroach aims its hand and fires a gas shot that pierces Sheila's chest. A shot of highly heated gas from a hydrogen peroxide compound. These are the old bug squad's injuries, and this is the spray of the Bombardier Beetle's launcher. This ability belonged to one of the members of the bug squad who died on the Martian surface. And the same thing with Ivan's sister. The cockroach that tore her head off has the legs of the water strider. Legs that allow easy and fast movement on the water's surface as if sliding on ice. The bug squad was sent to Mars with various implants. Each one of them had an insect ability implanted to use against the cockroaches, and the force of the blow destroyed her heart, and she dies at the hands of Commander Komachi. Current problem is that the cockroaches that appeared in front of the teams are cockroaches with bug squad abilities. This means the cockroaches are intelligent and sent the appropriate individuals to fight the humans. All the soldiers take out the medicine to activate the human transformation. Unlike the old operation, which was limited to implanting insect abilities, the new operation can implant the ability of any living creature. Komachi and his team transform. One of them has the ability to fly and tries to fly, but a cockroach grabs her by the leg. A normal cockroach's speed can reach 300 km/h, and this is because their size became like humans, even faster than a cheetah. At that moment, Marcus intervenes, pouncing on the first one and destroying it, then moves to the second, third, and fourth. This is because he has the ability of the hunting spider without venom or poison. His eyes and limbs can kill the largest cockroaches. He moves from one place to another, killing them, and all he has in his mind is Sheila, who died before his eyes. Sheila, with whom he spent his childhood, died at the hands of the cockroaches. The hunting spider's main prey is cockroaches. It relies on body hair to sense movements and its strikes hit lethal areas, but its only weakness is its stamina. It tires quickly from battles. Michelle intervenes and protects him, telling everyone, "We will kill all the cockroaches in front of us, and if any remain alive, we will capture them." The same thing happens with Michelle, who enters the human transformation stage. She engages in hand-to-hand combat with one, gives him a headbutt, and flips him to the ground. Michelle has two abilities. She has the abilities of the Parapanera ant. The ant increases its owner's physical ability, and this she got from her father, who was a soldier in the previous bug squad, and the new operation implanted in her the explosion ability from the same ant. Any target she hits explodes from within. Alone, she moves from one target to another, exploding their bodies without needing help from the rest of the team who were watching. A group of cockroaches goes to Akari, who entered the human transformation form, even though he was basically transforming when he fought in the ring. The cockroaches attack, so he breaks the first one's leg, then ties up the second one. He attacks with his stick, delivering consecutive blows and flipping him to the ground, tying him up. The third tries to attack him, so he hits him with a rock. Suddenly, the rock returns to him, tearing his leg off, and then he ties him up too. They captured 3 cockroaches. Michelle finishes blowing up the last cockroach. Not useful at all in the mission of capturing cockroaches. They put the 3 in the cage and locked them up. While Michelle is cleaning herself in the lake, suddenly they hear a sound coming from the sky and a cockroach crashes onto the ship, a cockroach with strange legs. At the same moment, a hand emerges from the lake and pulls Michelle into it. The cockroach that landed on the ship didn't fall from the sky. It jumped here using its strange legs. Alex takes the medicine, and a moment later, the cockroach attacks. He hits it with the other leg. They fly away. Then it enters the ship and takes off. It took the ship with the soldiers inside and the 3 captive cockroaches. The soldiers are standing, and in front of them is the cockroach steering the ship. They are afraid to even approach it. The cockroach stands before them, and suddenly a rock passes by its side. A rock thrown by Alex because Akari had tied it with a thread to reach the ship. One of the strongest threads, and strangely it's not produced by spiders. This thread is the thread of the Japanese stick insect, a creature threatened with extinction, and its abilities are implanted inside Akari. Akari reaches the ship and tells everyone, "Leave the cockroach to me. I want to talk to him privately." He activates the evacuation mode and flies him out of the place so he can face the cockroach with the strange legs. At the same time, Michelle was falling into the water. The cockroach is holding her with a hand that seems to have an adhesive substance, and also its leg is like fins. And its back looks strange, designed for violence in the water. This is because it has the ability of the diving beetle. The diving beetle uses its arms for climbing and its legs for swimming, and its back is like a lung where it stores air for a full 10 minutes. Michelle and Akari face their enemies while thinking, all the insect abilities in front of us were in the organs of the bug squad. How did the cockroaches get? There must be only one way. Dissecting the corpses of the bug squad members, cutting everything into pieces and implanting them into cockroaches to gain the abilities. The soldiers are still falling, but Alex comes and catches. Their weight is very heavy on him, and with difficulty he manages to get them to the ground. Akari faces the cockroach, which delivers a leg blow to him. A leg blow like a cannon because it's the legs of the grasshopper, an insect whose hind legs are so strong that it's called the jumping insect. Akari is thrown to the ground from the force of the blow. Michelle, with her physical strength, breaks the cockroach's arm and gets out of its control. She tries to reach the surface, but she won't be faster than it. It grabs her by the leg and pulls her back down. The battle is considered over. Michelle wraps her body around the insect's leg and goes down with it. As we said, the insect, thanks to its back, can withstand 10 minutes and a human's maximum is 2 minutes underwater. Lack of oxygen causes suffocation and loss of ability to move. But the movement she made to the cockroach has a benefit. They realize one thing they can use. The cockroach doesn't feel pain, so after exactly 2 minutes, she breaks the cockroach's leg. But even after breaking its leg, the 2 minutes were enough to completely remove her ability to move. Akari during this time was on the ship waiting for the right moment. He wants the ship to keep moving. The cockroach attacks, so he makes a barrier with threads protecting him and gives it a leg, pushing it away. Finally, the right moment came because he saw Michelle. With a thread, he pulls her from the middle of the lake and saves her. At that moment, he stops the ship, so the cockroach loses balance and falls. A lucky cockroach manages to fly, and Alex, who was observant, hits it with a flying ball that destroys its wing, and then a second ball breaks its leg. Akari won't miss an opportunity like this, and he ties it up. And thus, he managed to catch 4 samples. Let's leave America and Japan for a bit and go to Russia, led by Asimov, who is standing in front of a swarm of cockroaches with the pyramids behind him. He says the transformation of the cockroach with 6 legs into a 2-legged creature is intriguing. Before he can finish his speech, the cockroach descends on his head with a blow. Asimov says, "I haven't finished talking yet," and he washes the cockroach and tears it apart. Asimov came here because his granddaughter is infected with the virus, and he wants to save her before it's too late. Asimov withstood the cockroach's blow because his body is very thick due to the high percentage of calcium in his bones. Because of the high percentage, he can create a new arm to replace the one that was cut off. This is because he has the ability of the giant crab. The sledding cockroach flees from him at maximum speed, so Asimov gathers with his soldiers and attacks the cockroaches. The first one has that of a scorpion, the second has the body of a wasp. Ivan, who wants to take revenge on the cockroach that killed his sister, and the rest of the cockroaches are gathered on Asimov, and he doesn't feel anything due to the strength of his bones. He sends everyone around him flying, and with his hand that resembles a club, he destroys their heads. Suddenly, the sledding cockroach cuts off Ivan's head, and then it launches and tears off Asimov's head with quick movements. It wiped out the entire squad, but the cockroach feels choked because Asimov is holding it by the neck. Illusions are Ivan's ability. A gas discovered by scientists in a plant that grows in America causes hallucinations, and that's why they called it Devil's Trumpet. This plant is implanted in Ivan and affected all the cockroach's senses. The cockroach is now living in a nightmare, and Ivan ends the nightmare for it with a blow that makes it fall to the ground. Then with the net weapon that was with his sister, he captures it and imprisons it in the ship. Do you see all that we have seen? It doesn't count for anything because cockroaches are originally nocturnal creatures. Their activity increases with the onset of night. At the German group led by Adolf, his assistant named Isabella is literally stomping on the faces of the cockroaches that appear, and the rest of the team isn't intervening due to her strength. Michelle contacts him and says, "There's no contact from the Chinese team. I need you to go see what happened to them." Adolf agrees and takes Isabella on the ship and launches there. He arrives at their location on the radar, but suddenly finds their ship next to him, crashing and throwing him into a pit. 3 missiles are launched, destroying the ship's legs. Cockroaches appear from everywhere, a giant swarm of cockroaches, and with them is the Chinese ship. Does this mean the entire Chinese team died? Adolf says no. Isabella, get ready. We're going down to face them. You target the muscular cockroach next to the Chinese ship. We said the bug squad had insect abilities implanted in them because at that time, scientists could only use insects, but later they could implant abilities from different animals and plants. The first successful experiment in history was on a child named Adolf. Adolf throws a dagger at a cockroach and it explodes. He prepares for battle with daggers. Every dagger he throws at a cockroach delivers an electric shock that kills the target. This is because he has the ability of the electric eel, one of the strongest aquatic creatures in North America. Its body produces an electric force capable of killing or paralyzing prey. Isabella heads to the Chinese ship to free it from the cockroach's grasp, and Adolf continues capturing insects. As we said, he can emit an electric shock, and his body is equipped with a substance to protect himself from the shock. He reached this level after thousands of experiments that deformed his body forever and made him an outcast from humans. The only place he can continue in his current form is the army. Hundreds of cockroaches advance and he continues the battle. The electric eel is a fierce creature by nature, capable of fighting hundreds of enemies alone. And Isabella, who takes the medicine, has the ability of the giant insect from Indonesia, known for eating meat, strong legs, and ferocity in combat. All the good stuff. But it's not important because the muscular cockroach hits her with one blow that explodes her body. She didn't even get to fight. Adolf continues in the battle, benefiting from the rainy weather. It's known that water increases the strength of electricity. The muscular cockroach pounces on him from behind, so Adolf digs his fingers into its eyes and melts its brain. From the force of exhaustion, his body starts to bleed. His body's immunity isn't enough to withstand the amount of electricity that came out of him. A vehicle arrives and the soldiers stand at attention. Someone gets out, one of the cockroaches resembling the Hindu priest cockroach we mentioned, or maybe it's him, and they all look alike. He points at Adolf and gives orders to the others. Immediately, everyone moves towards him. They advance in organized ranks. Adolf, with all his might, spreads the daggers everywhere, but each dagger can only kill one target. The cockroaches reach him and surround him. He continues until he loses the strength to stand. It seems this is the end. His team finally descends from the ship with weapons. They form a circular formation and try to get him out of the place. The cockroaches grab the first one and tear her heart out from her chest. The problem with the German squad soldiers is that they are not specialized for combat. Their abilities are better in surveillance and protection. So in front of you, they are being crushed. Then they didn't stop there. The cockroaches capture them with nets, as if the humans have turned into cockroaches. Eva is the one who is supposed to run away with Adolf, but in front of what she's seeing, she can't move. Her body is trembling from fear. Adolf enters a strange state. You feel he is dead, but still has the will to fight. Suddenly, a giant electric wave emits from him, using the rain as a conductor to spread in the surrounding area. The desire to save his soldiers before they died made him move. He takes a double dose of the medicine. The medicine reveals the power of the abilities, and when you increase the dose, the ability's power increases, but without a doubt, its side effects are fatal. The insulators in his body explode. Nothing protects his body from the electricity. He touches the first cockroach and kills it. The cockroach touches the second, transferring the electricity to it. He jumps on them and with a giant move he hunts them down like an oven, wiping out all the cockroaches in the pit. And he doesn't stop there. He jumps to their leader and gives him 2 daggers. But his guard is shocked by a lightning rod, and this was part of his plan. The daggers are like conductors attracting lightning from the sky. It strikes the leader's body. The lightning's power is 6 million volts. In a moment, the leader's body falls to the ground a corpse. Adolf alone wiped out hundreds of cockroaches and killed their leader. Or so he thought. A cockroach approaches the leader's body and steps on his chest. Once, twice, 3 times. The cockroaches are learned in cardiac resuscitation. The cockroach restores the leader's blood flow, and he gets up again. He gives orders to his soldiers to capture all the soldiers. They are caught in nets. Adolf can't move a finger from exhaustion. Eva stands in front of him to protect him with her body. The cockroaches take out weapons and fire bullets. Suddenly Adolf gets up and creates an electric barrier that stops all the bullets. His resilience impressed everyone present, and because of that, they move to Plan B. A giant rock reaches the leader and his assistants. The rock is the ammunition, and the soldier is the catapult. No electric barrier can stop them. The rock takes Adolf's body out and kills him. He died protecting Eva with his body. The leader descends himself to take his body. Eva stands in front of him and tries to push him away. Her attempts are weak and useless, but these attempts were to buy time. They hear a sound from Adolf's body, a ringing sound like a timer. All the cockroaches flee at maximum speed. They even throw the nets from their hands. Adolf himself didn't know this was inside him. As the first case to have a non-insect ability implanted, Germany implanted a defense system in him that activates in case of his death or theft by a foreign country. The bomb explodes and destroys everything within a 1-kilometer radius. Michelle and Akari receive a report that an explosion occurred in the east, the location of the German team. The war wasn't only on the German side. The Japanese team was fighting the same battle. Marcus is deflecting stone balls while Kamaki was facing a cockroach that copies threads like a spider. All team members are facing strong soldiers which forced them to use the medicines. The battle wasn't just on the ground. Sanjo, who has the ability to fly, provides support. A cockroach brings out its wings to face her, so she cuts its body in half with her wings. The white-throated needletail is a small bird, but its speed reaches 350 km. When its ability merged with humans and with the large wing size, it turns into a sword that cuts anything it touches. But despite the high speed, its catch rate is high. The cockroaches hunt in the net, and Marcus immediately intervenes and saves her. Someone named Keiji was facing a cockroach with a metal back. Keiji was originally an athlete and professional boxer. Day after day, he increased his strength, wanting to reach the highest ranks, and he was caring for his sick mother, a normal life for the most part. But something unexpected happened in boxing. His retina detached, which affected his vision. In his current condition, he can't continue boxing, so he worked as a delivery driver for fish. He collected all the money and even borrowed more to treat his eye, and all attempts failed. Michelle visited him one day and offered him to join the team, and in return they would pay all his debt and also perform the operation. Keiji agreed, but on a very strange condition. He gets to choose the creature to be implanted in him. He wants a creature with high vision and lethal punches. A creature whose feeding method on prey is by punching them, and its strike is like a bullet. The creature's name is the peacock mantis. He faces a cockroach that has the ability of an insect whose body is so hard it doesn't need to hide, and it even holds the title of the hardest insect in the world, the devil's beetle. Keiji delivers a blow. His strong blows break the wall, but Keiji destroys its armor with a hit. The mantis shrimp's field of vision is wider than other insects, and it can also see ultraviolet and infrared rays, as well as sound waves, strong eyesight and fatal strikes. His wish came true and he reached the strength he wanted. He applies boxing rules and dodges blows, but he gets hit once. One hit was enough to break his left arm. He continues with one arm delivering blows to lethal areas, destroys the beetle's armor, and drops it to the ground, a corpse. Let's go to Kamachi, who's facing something strange. It's a cockroach but feels somewhat like a monkey, and it also produces threads like a spider, a strange mixture. With quick movements it wraps the threads, but Kamachi implants a thorn in its chest, and consecutive blows to the thorn reach the cockroach's heart. Kamachi managed to defeat 100 cockroaches so far because he has the abilities of the Japanese giant hornet. The hornet is large and doesn't rely on the venom in its body. The most important thing is physical strength and sharp stingers, known as the bee hunter. For the first time, we learned that Kamaki was in the bug squad that reached Mars 20 years ago and was one of the 6 who managed to escape the cockroach's grasp. And Marcus is still continuing in the battle, and if we forgot, he has the ability of the hunting spider. After a long exhaustion, he managed to finish off all the enemies. The Japanese team performed excellently, and the Russian team who entered the pyramid, they entered a place with no guards and no cockroaches came after them, meaning the place is of no importance to the cockroaches. So why did they build it in the first place? They continue inside the pyramid and find an alien spacecraft belonging to the Bug Squad, or rather its name is Great Crab 3. It's one of the unmanned spacecraft sent to Mars and we lost contact with it. so maybe they use this place for storage. But the problem is that there are missing parts from the spacecraft, and the Japanese team, who see something glowing in the sky, missiles descend on them and explode the area. The thing taken from the ships was the fuel and propulsion systems. The cockroaches use the fuel to power the missiles and hunt the soldiers. They surround the place with fire. Suddenly, a soldier's leg is cut off. The soldier's name is Guard. Cockroach appears from within the fire. Its body is transparent. Not just one, dozens appear from underground and kill the soldiers. He delivers a blow to Marcus, sending him flying. The cockroaches arrived at this time because they know the medicine's effect is starting to run out, and also the Japanese team doesn't have new medicines. The Russian team continues searching inside the pyramid and finds the last thing they expected, a drawing of the main ship and the 6 who will exit from it, and also the medicines the soldiers use. The cockroaches have a detailed diagram of the plan. This has only one explanation. One of the 6 participating teams betrayed humanity and collaborated with the cockroaches. The insects gather on Marcus and suddenly a rock hits the cockroach's head, killing it. The American team has arrived. Alex, who can fly and also hits his targets with excellent throwing. You feel he's a baseball player, especially since the balls he throws from tens of kilometers away. This is because he has the ability of the harpy eagle. The eagle is known to be the strongest bird of prey in the world, with wide and far vision and lethal strikes. Not only that, but one of the balls contained medicine. Marcus takes it to activate his ability again and enters the second round of fighting against the cockroaches. Alex throws dozens of balls and Marcus aims at the cockroaches one after the other until he meets a cockroach with a strange shape that deflects the blow. Definitely implanted with an ability, Akari reaches the battlefield followed by Michelle. And at the ship, the transparent cockroach was walking in the middle of the fire. It reaches the cage of cockroaches, so Michelle immediately heads towards it, and the others deal with the rest of the insects. Finally, the Japanese and American teams unite. Sanjo and Marcus are assigned against the insects, while Akari faces the cockroach whose hand has hooves because it has the ability of the mole cricket. The mole cricket's abilities revolve around digging and forming tunnels. This is the main key they use to appear from underground. It attacks Akari, so he blocks the blow and quickly brings out his wing to escape from him. Michelle faces the transparent cockroach, which has the ability of the jewel beetle. Its shell is hard and its color helps in camouflage and hiding. Keiji and Kamachi come out of the pit, having taken the medicines, and transform again. They clean up for Marcus and Alex in the battle. Guard tells Michelle, "I lost my leg, but maybe I can help you. I can find the location of the cockroach." He takes the medicine to transform again and uses his ability, echolocation, a process used by dolphins and whales. They emit sound waves, and by the echo of the sound they know the location of enemies. He finds its location. It was above him. Michelle tries to push it away, but the cockroach is strong. It grabs her and tries to crush her. She gathers all her strength and blows into it, and at that moment its body explodes. Her ability is legendary. I don't know how she could lose. And at Joseph, the European leader who arrives at the location of the German team, may God have mercy on them. Without us seeing, he cuts off the head of the cockroach leader. I wonder what his ability is. He seems strong. Akari is still fighting the mole cricket. He tears its wings off to prevent it from flying and ties it up. Of course, the cockroach will dig to escape, and this is what he planned for because he tied it with threads. With its descent underground, it gets trapped and won't be able to get out or dig more. They finished off the cockroaches with abilities in front of them. Only 10 million cockroaches without abilities remain. An easy task? May God help them. In another place, we see the Chinese team that disappeared from their ship. They were planting mines in the ground. Why did they leave their ship? No one knows. The Japanese and American teams in their battle face a problem. They took 2 doses of the medicine and self is dangerous. The problem is that they aren't enough. A cockroach comes at lightning speed, takes Akari, and flies away. The insects throw a party for him. He gets up to continue his battle against the cockroaches, and the others quickly come to help him. Their luck is that day began to break. As we said, cockroaches are nocturnal creatures, so they receive an order to retreat. The day can be considered a rest period for the soldiers. He begins mentioning the information they gathered. With us, the Japanese division and the American division, we saw an explosion coming from the German division's location, and we also saw a request for support from the Chinese team. And since then, we haven't heard anything from them. We don't know anything about the others, and a night passes without a cockroach attack. This piece is frightening, more than the attack itself. The problem is that the second day passes, the third, the fourth, 6 full days on Mars without a single cockroach appearing. The Russian team spent the 6 days searching the pyramid and found a room with drawings of the solar system. Asimov says, the bug squad mentioned in the report that they met a highly intelligent cockroach proficient in martial arts and interested in the abilities that humans have. Most likely, he was supervising the transfer of these abilities to his fellow cockroaches, but we are sure he died, so there might be another cockroach with the same intelligence. And the Chinese team, who we said were planting mines. We learned that they reached the main ship, and swarms of cockroaches are heading there. Or the leader of the team had a strange device. He turns it on and it attracts all the flying insects. Suddenly it opens and is hit by bullets. a weapon that represents a water shield for the surrounding area. If they had these weapons, why did all those people die? The American and Japanese teams were heading there. Komachi quickly stops the ship. He saw the barrier that is hunting the cockroaches. He tries to contact Earth, and Liu, the Chinese leader, is passing his forces, preparing for war. He jams the communication Komachi is trying to make. Liu, the Chinese leader, contacts him and says, "We are very sorry. We are the ones who let the 6 cockroaches into the ship, and we are the ones who blew up the ship to land on Mars and begin Plan Delta. We currently control the planet's communications and can target them with missiles if you want, but I will spare you in exchange for handing over Akari and Michelle, and we will return as friends." Cockroach forces attack China with rocks, so he creates a shield to protect the ship. The Chinese team comes with all possible weapons. They were stored in a part of the main ship because they didn't come to exterminate the cockroaches. The truth is they came to take the soldiers' bodies and return to China to benefit from the abilities and increase the Chinese army's strength. At this time, the Russian team is heading to help the Japanese and American teams. Asimov says we will divide ourselves into 2 teams, but one of his soldiers named Sasha comes out and says, "I will give you a special task." Komachi gives his team an order: stay alive. Sandro goes out with her legendary speed, destroys the ship's barrier, and after that Komachi lands among them. The battle transformed from being humans versus cockroaches to humans versus humans. The Chinese team tries to confront with metal weapons. A metal idea passes by Liu and the magnet stops it. Alex throws a ball at him to shame them for using the magnet, and in this case they won't be able to use weapons. Komachi steps forward to face Liu and says, "You will pay for what you did. You are the reason dozens of us died." The battle begins between the two. Without transforming is strong, but Komachi delivers a blow that makes him lose balance. Liu tells his team, "Aim for the leg." The soldiers carry out the order and hit both of them. Liu begins the human transformation because he has the ability of the blue-ringed octopus. The octopus is strong and has multiple arms, and most importantly, it is poisonous and resistant to poisonous attacks. He tells his soldiers prepare a cage to imprison him. Suddenly, the 2 ships move. Was Komachi bait to give them time to escape? Liu says to him, "Unfortunately, I loved you," and opens fire on him with weapons, killing him. Suddenly, everyone feels dizzy and some of them fall. The others quickly put on masks. Komatsu is in place. This must be Eva's illusion gas. The Russian team arrives to help. An aircraft approaches the Chinese team, destroyed by the barrier, but it served its purpose and transported the Russian team to the Chinese team's location. Asimov says, "We came to get rid of the traitor." Akari and Michelle, they are the 2 who took the ships to get away from the Chinese team and are heading to Joseph, the leader of the European team. Joseph, who is now sitting in front of a mountain of cockroach corpses. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the strongest soldier in the mission. Asimov says to Liu, "What is this? Your leg is healed? You told us you have the anaconda ability, so you are definitely lying. The healing ability in front of me and the long arms. You definitely have the octopus ability, and since I found out its poison is strong against crustaceans." The battle of the giant crab against the blue-ringed octopus. "You should know my granddaughter is sick with the virus, and because of your actions, her treatment is delayed." He is hit, but the machine gun fire stops him despite his strength. The bullets that destroy his body, but he is still continuing. He manages to reach the machine gun and throws it to the ground. A monstrous strength for him, and truly the weapons the Chinese use are destroyed now. It's time for combat battles between the soldiers. The battle of Asimov against Liu is very strong. Asimov tries to finish it quickly before the poison affects him, but as the battle drags on, Liu throws him and also his soldiers. Both are injured. The Chinese team isn't just advanced with firearms. They also have strong abilities. And I'm sure you still remember the soldier Sasha, whom Asimov sent on a special mission. The mission is to bring the weapons. He reaches the battlefield with a rocket launcher. The Chinese team had hidden it in the ship. With this launcher, he will change the outcome of the battle. Or so they thought. One of the Chinese soldiers hits the ground and flips the launcher. Suddenly, the sky darkens. Have we reached midnight or not? The cockroaches from their numbers cover the sky, standing and watching the humans fighting each other. One of them descends. It has the wings of a dragonfly insect. It tries to take a weapons vehicle but fails, so it snatches a soldier from among them and hands him over to the cockroaches. Not just a soldier, it takes all the corpses and all the severed limbs. They collect the parts to benefit from them in the future, and they release the cockroach children to the ground. Apparently, the dragonfly is one of the leaders because it gives the children orders for war. The children are launched to the ground, dragging them away from the place. Jeff to catch up, but the dragonfly stops him. The children are placed with him and Liu as if they are sending the children to train on fighting humans. The children face the soldiers, and as soon as they are cornered, the dragonfly supports them, and Liu as if they are sending the children to train on. Suddenly, a sword descends, cutting the cockroaches. Sanjo arrived to provide support and brought Eva with her. Koko is the one who can make a difference because he spreads gas in the area and knocks out all the cockroach children. The dragonfly chases Sanjo, and without her, the others can deal with the children. They press Sanjo, thousands of cockroaches appear in front of her. She increases her speed and slices their bodies, but this of course stops her movement. The dragonfly was about to catch her, but she escapes from him with an unexpected move and leaves. He goes with the rest of the cockroaches and places the main ship. Hundreds of thousands cover the ship, but they suddenly fall. One comes out from above the ship and her name is Hong. Immediately, all the cockroaches fall around her. They couldn't withstand a single second near. The most destructive weapons in the world are three: nuclear, chemical, and biological. Because they are destructive, their use is prohibited. But China is different and doesn't care about the law. They implanted in her bacteria that spread the anthrax disease, a deadly disease that spreads through the air. But before that, they were ready with protective suits. Asimov immediately orders all his soldiers to escape. If they smell the bacteria, they will die immediately. But the only one who remained standing was Sasha. Asimov and the others escape into a tunnel underground. The dragonfly gathers the children's bodies from the place and takes them and escapes. Liu returns to the main ship and finds an injured soldier. Surely someone infiltrated inside the ship, but he isn't wearing a protective suit, so it's a matter of time until he dies. So he orders all his soldiers to search for him. Surely the soldier who entered is Sasha. And we learn that Sasha is married to a girl, and this girl is Asimov's granddaughter. This means Asimov is his father-in-law. So Asimov came to Mars to find a cure for his granddaughter, and he has no problem sacrificing himself to save her. With a biological weapon like Hong on China's side, it will be impossible for the other teams to defeat them. He reaches Hong's location, who was under guard. He throws a gas grenade to kill the soldiers protecting her. She escapes to another room, and he follows her. And we learn that Sasha has the ability of the giant stag beetle. Its only strength is in its arms, which are like pincers. Sasha reaches Hong. It doesn't matter, I will do anything to reach the cure, even if I have to kill a child. But the rest of the Chinese team arrives to protect her. He throws another smoke grenade, but he is surprised by one of the soldiers whose ability allows her to hide her body. Definitely has the ability of the squid. He won't be able to reach Hong. His mission has finally failed. He stabs 4 medicines into his body. The first soldier to do this. His body transforms into a large insect, but the transformation didn't last more than 30 seconds because his heart stops from the effect of the medicine. The Chinese team managed to protect its strongest weapon, and they jump to search for Michelle and Akari. Kamachi wakes up with the Russian team and asks them what happened. Asimov tells them all the information he has. The Chinese team most likely underwent surgical operations different from ours. The issue isn't just about Hong, who represents a biological weapon. Even the other members have turned into strange animals. Most likely these operations will affect them. Even if they don't transform, when they return from Mars, they won't be able to live a normal life. China isn't interested in curing the disease. Its goal from the mission is to dominate the world by creating an army of transformed beings, giving them immunity and abilities beyond human. And surely the key to the plan are Michelle and Akari, the two who were born with abilities inherited from their father, so we must protect them at any cost. At this time, Michelle and Akari were trying to get away from the Chinese team, but a cockroach appears in front of them and stops the ship. The cockroach doesn't look strange to Michelle, a cockroach with the ability of the Parapanera ant, which it took after dissecting Michelle's father's body. Akari descends and using his ability restrains the cockroach's movement, but even with the threat, he can't paralyze its movement. Michelle descends to support him, and also doesn't want anyone else to use her father's ability, especially a cockroach. She pounces on it and hits it, second, third. She vents her anger on the cockroach's body, but the cockroach hits her with a finger, sending her flying a kilometer away. How did it escape from the threads? And more importantly, why didn't it explode until now? Michelle hit it about 300 times. Something is wrong. Why is it tired? It's called. Surely it won't explode with its ability. The cockroach increases its muscle strength to break free from the thread, but Akari says to it, "Don't dream of getting out of my threads." Suddenly, the thread's weight decreases, and the cockroach breaks free. A second cockroach appears behind him. I wonder what its ability is. And Michelle returns and says to the ant cockroach, "You are my opponent." And Akari faces the second one. From its shape, it has the ability of the darkling beetle, a beetle that secretes an acidic substance that dissolves anything it touches. It dissolved Akari's thread. The danger is that the beetle is accustomed to throwing acid in the opponent's eyes with a strange movement. The cockroach climbs on its friend's hand and throws it, pulling Akari with it so the battle becomes one-on-one. The darkling beetle cockroach doesn't just have the ability to secrete acid. It seems proficient in martial arts. It secretes acid from its leg, creating fog, and takes advantage to strike. But Akari manages to dodge and break its arm with an unexpected move. He pulls a gun from his pants and empties it into it. Is this a cockroach or a criminal from Chicago? Alex provides him support and throws him a sword. Sword specialized for fighting cockroaches. You're acting like a gangster? I'll act like a samurai for you. The cockroach grabs a rock and hits the ground to hit him. The cockroach is clever. It saw that Akari has a sword, so it decided to keep the battle at a distance. Throws rocks at him until he gets tired, and maybe one of them hits him. The plan is working as he wants. He waits for the right moment and attacks Akari, but Akari was observant. With one blow, he splits the cockroach's body in half, and with Michelle, who is fighting the cockroach and remembers how she discovered her strength. She discovered that she inherited the strength from her father, but in a difficult way. When she was 13 years old, her strength came out and exploded her friends, killing them. Because of that, she isolated herself and lived a secluded life until she accepted Kamachi, who told her about her father's strength, the first one to inherit strength from both parents. And that's why he asked her to join the Mars team. Michelle gets up and hits the cockroach, flipping it to the ground. She tries to kick it, so it blocks it with its other leg. Unlike previous battles that ended by exploding the target, this battle will be determined by the one with greater physical strength. She can break its leg, but with a surprising move, it throws its leg at her and stabs her. She gets up again to face it, and with every blow she delivers to it, her body gets injured and her bones break, but she endures the pain to kill the cockroach. My father's strength is mine alone. I won't let you use it for evil. She wraps her leg around its head and slams it to the ground. All this wasn't enough, so Akari intervenes and ties up the cockroach. In its current state, it can't resist. The two of them succeeded in defeating strong cockroaches. The last thing they expected was the appearance of members of the Chinese team. Akari and Michelle are found and they use nets to capture the two. He says to Akari, "Where is the rest of the American and Japanese team?" Akari says to him they died. So he takes out a gun and shoots off his ear. "I asked you, so answer without lying." He seems really crazy. So he shoots off his other ear. "So where is Alex?" And also one that's unnecessary. Like this. And the soldier reports to the Chinese division. Liu contacts his location. At the same time, the rest of the American and Japanese team were digging in the ground, wanting to reach the main ship's location from underground and disable the jamming towers to inform Earth that China betrayed the world. If this happens, countries will gather and destroy the state of China. The soldier had taken Akari and Michelle, and suddenly a net appears and stops the ship. New forces of cockroaches appear. So the soldier increases the ship's speed and gets out himself to face the cockroaches. The ship runs over some of them and the rest he faces with a sword. Without transforming, he can kill dozens. The soldier says, "Believe it, their numbers are huge," and activates the evacuation mode, flying Alex and the girl out of the ship. He uses himself as bait to distract the cockroaches. The most important thing is to preserve the targets, who are Akari and Michelle. The girl transforms to protect Alex. She has the ability of the striped skunk, an ability that has no necessity in combat. In short, it repels with its stinky smell, keeping animals away from it. The cockroaches actually get scared and stop. She carries Alex and tries to escape, but she takes 2 bullets in her leg, and they fall to the ground. A cockroach with a strange hand drinks water, and this hand converts it into water bullets. The cockroach forces gather on Alex and the girl. It seems like the end for them, but at the last moment, the last expected person appears. Joseph, the leader of the European team. His muscles are like Mr. Olympia, and all this without even transforming yet. He gives the girl and Alex medicine for transformation, and alone he faces the cockroaches with his sword. He cuts the first, and with quick movements, he cuts their bodies. Joseph is originally an athlete and a gold medal winner in the Olympics. He finishes off the front line of cockroaches, takes the 2 and launches in his vehicle. The girl is the one driving, and he kills any cockroach that approaches him. He is not just a strong athlete. He is the son of an ancient, powerful tribe that cared about eugenics, marrying the strongest male to the strongest female to produce the strongest children. And that's why you'll find him exaggerated in everything. In height, muscle strength, intelligence level, and even development level. And that's why he deservedly earned the title of the strongest soldier sent to the planet Mars. He reaches the vehicle and faces the Chinese soldier. The soldier says to him, "Even if you are the strongest, it won't change my mission." He barely starts because the cockroaches cut them off. But the factor of strength was with Joseph because the Chinese soldier turned his back to the cockroach soldiers, who were shooting water bullets at him. Joseph takes advantage of his injury and delivers a low blow, breaking his jaw, and then cuts his leg and throws him out of the ship, as the Chinese soldier didn't even transform, and the cockroaches fly off with his head. The whole problem is with the cockroach son of a bitch who is throwing water bullets. He is standing far away with a whole battalion of soldiers in front of him. Michelle says to him, "What happened to your team?" he says to her. "The cockroach that throws water with the ability of the archerfish." As soon as we landed on Mars, we were caught in a net and the cockroaches surrounded us. I used a substance to attract them to me and protect my team, and I left a soldier with the archerfish ability to protect the other soldiers. I don't need to tell the rest, since we see a cockroach with the fish's ability, so they killed the entire team and stole my soldiers' abilities. And until now, we know that the German team and the European team were annihilated, and the Japanese and American team are still digging to reach the jamming tower. They are digging with the ability of the anteater, and with them is a soldier with the ability of the dolphin, so he could sense movements. The Chinese team is moving to support the soldier who captured Akari and Michelle. Since he caught them, they haven't reached us. But suddenly a second soldier appears in front of the soldiers. What is this? Isn't he the same soldier who died or someone who looks like him? They all look Chinese. He kills 3 soldiers with a gun. So KG destroys the pit, and they come out of it. Marcus faces him in a completely unequal battle because he easily breaks his neck. Suddenly, another soldier appears behind them. This is the same one. Everyone is launched towards the main ship and Marcus stays to face them. And the last thing they expected, the dragonfly cockroach arrives with its soldiers and does a very clever move. It makes its soldiers move their wings quickly, creating wind that blows away the poison in the air. A giant net comes out of the ship and the same soldier appears, probably the 7th copy. He takes 4 shots that kill him from a cockroach, so he kills 3 others. What exactly is his ability? The team reaches inside the ship and the dragonfly cockroach was behind them. Keiji decides to face it. If you don't know, the dragonfly is the fastest insect compared to its size. You feel like it sees movement in slow motion. Even though Keiji's blows are fatal against this speed, he can't hit it. He tries to aim a blow at it, so the cockroach grabs his hand. It aims his hand under the jaw and the cockroach dislocates it, tearing off Keiji's arm. But he took a blow that made him lose balance and prepared for the second blow that sticks him to the wall. Marcus was in the most boring battle in history. He finally learns his ability. Angiosperms are long, algae-like marine creatures that reproduce asexually. In other words, they divide to produce a new individual. Marcus learned his ability and immediately used the stick kills the first, second, and finally the third one in front of him because he doesn't know how many copies of him there are, because we see a copy of him protecting Hong and the dragonfly cockroach that comes out of his pocket. Is this a power-boosting drug? The Japanese and American squad are heading to the control room. From there, they will be able to stop the communication jamming tower. A gate opens in front of them and 2 come out of it. Definitely 2 other copies are not. What is this? They're wearing anti-venom suits. How did it fit them? Basically, the 2 captains are ordered at their top speed to Hong's place. The soldier enters the room to protect her, but for them to open the gate, it seems that they are targeting Hong. It is logical because it is the most powerful weapon that can be used against them. The soldier faces the 2 captains, reacting to their blows quickly and with martial arts. One flies and hits the other with the gun, but suddenly his blow hits the spine. This is not an ordinary cockroach. It is a cockroach with the ability of a cone snail. The snail is a marine creature with a long tooth that grows in the body of his targets, and in it the poison this time they did not add a hand or a leg like the rest of the cockroaches. This cockroach has properties added to it from within the body. In front of this situation, Hong will not be repelled suddenly. The cockroach is paralyzed because the hidden girl appears and throws the cockroach into the basement, and also kills the snail cockroach. Cage reaches the place in front of him, the control room, and also the most dangerous one, Hong Vibe. He faces the missing girl. It is clear that the Chinese squad's strength is not only their abilities. They are all proficient in martial arts and these abilities. It is an annual intense battle outside and the Japanese and American squads are in another world. With them is one who has the ability to press. He takes the rest in secret without anyone noticing. They enter the control room. The situation is currently complicated. Joseph, along with Akri and Mitchell, are facing the cockroaches and waiting for the jamming tower to be disabled. In fact, Joseph is the one who was fighting and reading. This is because the Chinese squad, led by Leo, is heading towards Akri and Mitchell, so it had to be split up. The Chinese squad itself was not free because a swarm of cockroaches appears in front of them and disables them. Leo enters transformation mode and faces this. Even Kamaki with the Russian squad were facing a 3rd squadron of soldiers fighting on all fronts. All the focus is currently on the squad. The Japanese and the Americans are in the control room. They have to hack the system and communicate with the ground to inform them of the betrayal of the Chinese team. They entered the room and the Chinese team does not know that they are inside, but a shock occurs. A cockroach follows inside. Everyone sees it and a wall grows. It attacks one of them and breaks a computer. Of course they hear the sound and quickly enter. Kaji comes and hits the cockroach with a bird. He stands in front of his soldiers to protect them. In reality, he is not protecting them from the Chinese. He has to protect their water from the cockroach that does not respond to the blow. Kaji gives them time to hit the ground and break it, and takes it and goes down to the lower floor. The girl hits the cockroach again, but it is still not affected, the honey badger. The honey badger is a mammal and is considered the bravest animal in the world. It does not run away from its opponent and faces even if the one in front of it is a lion. Its thick fur protects it from blows and it relies on its teeth in hunting. Kaji comes to get used to the girl and gives he was hit in the leg, but the cockroach The girl hits him on the ground, and he hits her until he is incapacitated. Fitch takes advantage of the opportunity and delivers a decisive blow to his back, breaking his spine and causing him to fall to the ground. A corpse. All that was happening was far from the control room, which only had one person working on hacking the system, and her name was Amelia. She was carrying Amal and Olam, Akri and Miss, who were fighting the swarms of cockroaches as well as her friends, who were ready to sacrifice themselves to carry out the mission. She was affected by the poison in the air that Hong was releasing, but she had the ability of a pericardial whale. A whale can stop its internal organs and still continue to live by stopping most of its organs except for the brain and fingers. Finally, she was able to hack the system. Communication with Earth was restored. She activated her lungs and throat again to communicate with them, but all she was able to say was, "Save us, we need help." Simple words weren't enough for them to know what was happening, but the countries decide to send support immediately. Amelia excels and finds herself with the Russian squad. They entered the ship and saved those inside because the cockroaches took control of the situation. They attacked the ship with tens of thousands of soldiers and dismantled these parts to use them in their experiments. Comac says to Amelia, "We thank you for this evening." She says to him, "What help?" Earth did not know what was happening here. He says to her, "No, you gave us hope, and thanks to you, we were able to communicate with them specifically." Acri and Mitchell communicated with Germany when the jamming stopped and informed the German department that China had betrayed us. Germany now knows about China's betrayal, and they will definitely inform the rest of the countries. The Chinese squad on Mars is finished. They will not be able to return to Earth. Joseph also appears in front of them and says, "It is time for you to pay the price." Events have changed and the Chinese squad has lost control of things. On Earth, someone was on vacation and his car broke down in the forest. He reaches the nearest house and finds black creatures inside. He quickly returns to the car and finds a giant cockroach inside, and the cockroach is behind it, killing it. Not only that, but there are scattered houses where the cockroaches were living and working on the computer. They also have a mobile phone and are connected to the planet Mars, communicating specifically with the cockroach that looks like a Hindu priest, and with him a group of cockroaches, almost the Supreme Council of Cockroach Leadership. But the important question is, where did they get the communication network from? A question I don't know the answer to because this is the end of the video.